Yes, welcome back lads. Another week has passed. This week's qualifying video for Daily Race C is the Group 2 at Autopolis International Racing Course. Today we're in the 2016 GTR from Nissan. So we're in the GTR this week not because it's the OP car, but because it is the only Group 2 I have any experience with, and it seems to be one of the easier Group 2s to drive. So thinking of you, instead of putting you in a car that no one's going to be able to drive, we will jump in the GTR and have a look at the course. But before we do, just a PSA, there will be links in the description and in the pinned comment to jump to the part of the video you would like to see. We will be having all camera views, and just the first part of the video will be the breakdown. As always, that will be in chase cam, but there will be bumper view and in-car view and out-of-car view for track limits and all that other jargon. But without further ado, we are about to get underway. Okay, on board now. As always, we will begin at turn 1, braking at around the 100 meter board. I feel like that little orange paint on the fence on the left hand side there, I like to feel like I'm braking next to it. Now we're going to keep to the left as far as possible, turn in when the tyres turn in, use all the curb on the apex and the exit. We hold third here. A few people using second. I found we were bagging up the rears way too much in second, so we held third. So as we're approaching turn 2, we're going to be using the concrete on the left hand side as our brake marker. Brake in a straight line until the curb. When we turn in, trail braking. Really prioritize your entry speed. You want as much speed on entry as possible. That is where we're going to get all our time in this combination. Balancing the throttle is the tricky part through here. Braking down into the hairpin, we're trying to point the car to the left hand side to get the car back across to really open up this U-turn. On the way out of here, I try and V it. So as we see the exit here, we're going to jab wide open throttle and straighten the wheel as much as possible. So the in-car there, we've almost got it back to straight. Now we're going to hit 100% throttle and straight up into second. And we're really trying to minimize how much wheel spin we're getting in first and second there. I found just straightening the wheel just stopped the car getting so sideways. We were losing a lot of time getting too sideways out of there. Really use this curb on the right hand side for turning in. We're probably not using as much as we like there. Balancing the throttle, a little bit of brake, that's because we were starting to drift. Once you see that flag marshal's box on the right hand side, we should be almost good enough to go right back to wide open throttle. Now braking at the second arrow down into here, another U-turn that is super important. Was really struggling to find some time in here. Down into second, waiting for first until after we're turned in, hoping that will rotate the car a little bit. Trying to square off this exit, up into first, short shift to second. The car will bag up the rears a lot there. The traction zone is where you'll find the time. So no threshold braking this time. This is going to be trail braking from the 50 board as we turn in, about a touch over half throttle for me, a bit less if you can. Holding fourth. Now this section of the track is just a slalom. We sort of missed the apex here. As you can see, we're trying to balance some half throttle, get back on it as soon as possible. Wide open here, using all the curb. Another wide open jab in between here before we slide back down into second. Once again, that's trying to help us rotate the car so we can get in a straight line here. We want a straight line and wide open throttle as soon as possible. Ride that curb. Now we didn't make it, but you do want to get out to this curb on the right hand side. That will allow you to take a later apex here. And as you can see, we're going to almost run into the grass at the start of that curb. You really want to hit the middle of that curb. Trying to get back across to the left hand side of the road. Once you see this concrete here on the right hand side, or the orange dot on the fence, you are almost good to go for wide open throttle. Using the grass, using extending track limits there, and a run to the line. And now for the full speed run, braking at the 100 board, staying as far left as possible, holding third, using all the curb on the exit, looking for about an 18.3, 18.4, 18.2 if you're a superstar, braking at the concrete, turn in at the curb, carry as much speed on entry, balance the throttle through this section, down into second, then find first for the U-turn, V this exit, straight line, wide open, pick up second, bag the rears a touch, try and hold it, turn in from the ripple strip. Once you see the flag marshal, we're good to go. You can try and hold fourth through there if you're quick enough. Braking at the second arrow, down to second as we turn in, a little bit of first to shift the rear around. On the juice as early as possible, second, third, fourth. So looking for the 50 board to turn in, light braking, use the ripple strip on entry and exit, find the apex if you can here, miss it a little bit, wide open throttle as soon as possible, use all the curb, wide open throttle, down into second, that should shift the car around, up on the curb, wide open throttle again. Now we want to be out on that right hand curb, late apex, wide open throttle to this curb, trying to get back on the left so we open up this long right hander. Once you see the concrete or orange stuff on the wall, it's wide open throttle to the line. And whoa, that is one hell of a 1 minute 36 seconds. So now we're in the bumper view. Not a lot to add here. All those bumper cam players, you should know what you're looking at. Just really try and carry as much speed on the entry there. Braking will force you to understeer off, and not braking, you'll just run in a straight line. So just a little bit of brake pressure. Squaring off this exit, trying to minimize wheel spin, should find yourself a few tenths there. I think we can do this one a little bit quicker. You might not need to use third there, but we got in a bad habit of it. Can brake a little bit later here, we're a little bit earlier on the juice, trying to use first to rotate the car. Had to wait for the apex to come to us. Now found this really tricky finding the right turn-in point. Not a lot of visuals there to help you, just use the 100 board and then feel when you've gone 50 meters. Really trying to feel the grip in the car through here. You see a lot of balancing the throttle. If the throttle's closed, we're understeering. If it's wide open, we're oversteering. So we're trying to find the right amount of throttle so the front and the rear have grip together. And yeah, for all those super serious, want to know everything kind of people, now we'll jump into the onboard, and this will give us the what we're doing for the steering inputs, how many adjustments, how many moves we're making. Really gentle on the turn in there. If you're rough, the front tyres won't hold. Same here, if you're rough through here, you'll just understeer everywhere. Little catch. Just really waiting for the grip to come to those tyres before we turn. Felt if you turned in too quickly there, the rear end would step out as well. The rear gets really light. Trying to judge that second shift so that the rear just steps around, allow you to straight line those two corners there. Because we apexed early, really had to wait to get on the throttle then. You can feel the engine labour down under the grip of the front tyres there as well. And now, just not a whole lot left on that curb. Really did try and maximise the track limits on this first sector. Probably another couple of tenths in this first sector. Little wiggle in the rear. Just late apex, really trying to use the left-hand tyres up on these curbs. Right-hand tyres there. Probably could have used a little more of the curb before we turned in then. Almost in the grass before we turn in there. Using the full ripple strip. Missed the apex here. Not sure how much time that was worth. I think the next improvement will come just using all that curb. And there we have it. Thanks for sticking around. If you're new here, give it the old subscribe. If it's helped you, give it a thumbs up. Peace.